Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Folks, I went to the movie theater recently to see a little film called Tarot. What is it about? You guessed it. It is about tarot cards and what will happen if you f around with tarot. Excuse my language. From a tarot reader's perspective, mixed in with a horror movie fanatic uh, perspective, the tarot movie is interesting. And it was a film that I, of course, had to see. I mean, it mixes tarot with horror. I love it. Um, I went into this movie with very low expectations. I read some reviews, so I kind of got a sense of what's going to be in store for me. Basically, I did get that, but when I walked out of the movie theater, I was actually pleasantly surprised how entertained I was about this movie. And that's what the film is essentially basically trying to do. When a group of college friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, which is never use someone else's deck, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death to escape the future foretold in their readings. So, as you can see by the premise, it is very Final Destination-y, kind of mixed in with also a really underrated film, The Curse of La Llorona. It definitely has that Final Destination vibe, which I really like. And one of the biggest things that I really like about this film is that it is quick to the action. So you basically have a group of friends, they rent out a mansion to celebrate a birthday, they drink all the alcohol, and wouldn't you know it, they were like, oh, well, we'll explore this mansion in hopes to find some alcohol. So, what they do is break into a locked room, and in that room, they actually find a cursed tarot deck unknowingly to them. And luckily, or unluckily, one of their friends can actually read the tarot. So, this whole tarot scene, which takes up maybe about maybe 10, 15 minutes of the movie, which is really cool. Actually really dig the actual tarot reading scene. It plays out so you get a kind of sense of basically how each of the friends will potentially die. And after that, it is game on. This is based on the 1992 novel Horoscope by Nicholas Adams, which the film was supposed to be called Horoscope, but in 2024 it was changed to Tarot, which I assume is to appeal to the massive commercialism of tarot since 2020. Tarot has kind of blown up since 2020, which I'm not mad at it. Another thing that I really, really enjoyed about this film was actually the monsters. They are very cool looking and they are pretty badass, I gotta say. So there are a total of 7 monsters in this film, and each of the monsters get, of course, their own major arcana card. These include the High Priestess, the Hermit, the Hanged Man, the Magician, the Fool, the Devil, and Death. The Tower card is mentioned, but it doesn't get a monster. And there was actually a minor arcana card that was represented in this film, but it is kind of goofed. It shows basically, spoiler alert, the Ten of Swords. However, on the card, it says Six of Swords, which is very jarring as a reader because you know that the illustration is definitely Ten of Swords, and the way the film portrays the act of the Ten of Swords, it does not represent the Six of Swords as it says on the card. So I felt that was a little of a bummer because the actual overall informational aspect of the cards in this film is really accurate. It is really well put together. Also, the astrology. These characters are basically put in their own little zodiac sign, and you basically get to know more about these characters according to their zodiac sign. So I thought that was really cool. Some of the cons that I didn't particularly like was that the movie trailer actually shows too much. In fact, it shows pretty much all of the monsters in the film, which I thought that was kind of a letdown because I kind of want to be surprised. And in fact, another con is that this film is very jump scary. A lot of jump scares happen and they're just really not scary. And in particularly the movie trailer, it basically shows pretty much almost all of the jump scares, and therefore I kind of already expect the jump scare before it happened. So therefore, I was not scared. Another con for me is that this movie is PG-13. Now, granted, there are some really good PG-13 horror movies like Lights Out, a phenomenal movie of how to do a PG-13 horror movie. I think this movie would benefit it to be an R-rated movie. I feel like even though the kills are really inventive and actually pretty decently gory for a PG-13. I think if they went above and beyond that PG-13 movie rating, I think it would have been a little better, but I understand that they're trying to appeal to a broader audience, so therefore there is that PG-13 movie rating there. A big con of mine in this film is actually the acting. It is pretty bad. I kind of blame it on the dialogue for these actors and actresses because they're only given what they're basically in the script. So they're basically working off of the script, and the acting, even though if they acted really good in this film, the dialogue was kind of cringy and kind of cheesy. And finally, the one con that kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth is actually the ending. Um, the ending essentially breaks one of its own movie rules. The rule that's broken is kind of broken maybe 20 minutes before the ending, maybe 15. And you're like, well, okay, that was weird. And so at the very end, they try to rectify the situation, and it kind of doesn't really work. The Tarot movie has its flaws, but I walked out kind of entertained by this movie. It's a movie that I will probably watch again. I think it is a good popcorn, Halloweeny, spooky movie that you could play, every other year with your friends and family who are interested in horror movies. The question I had about this film before going into it is how exactly will this movie portray an actual tarot reading session? And after seeing it and being entertained by it, I have to say this movie is purely entertainment. It, I think it exaggerates an actual tarot reading session and amplifies the card's meanings to kind of coincide with the commercial mainstream appeal of tarot. Is it a good movie? No, but it's not a bad movie. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen this movie. What did you think about it? Are you even going to see it? I hope you enjoyed this movie review. It is completely different than what I'm used to, so I figured I would definitely put in my 2 cents from a tarot reader perspective, seeing a movie called Tarot. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you for my next video. Take care.